Good morning, folks. Good morning, Cat. Welcome back to the farm. Got a beautiful, cool Nebraska fall morning out here this morning. So I figured it'd be a good day to clean this garden up. So stick around. You can see our garden's pretty much spent out here. We've got just a few straggler tomatoes on the vines out here. We might go through and see if there's some viable ones to take in the house for fresh eating. We have a bunch of habanero peppers over there on the other side that we'll probably pick. But the rest of this garden we can pretty much pull out. Take care of any little weeds that might be here and there. We got a whole bunch of volunteer dill growing over here. We'll probably just let go in case we need some later. We'll let the freeze take care of those. So let's get started. Got our watermelon vine pulled out and all of our jalapeno and bell pepper plants that we had pulled up when we picked them before that last freeze. So we'll get all that hauled out of the garden. You can see we've got some peppers, some ones that were substandard laying down here on the ground. We're going to want to rake all those up, because all those seeds will start volunteer plants next year. I try to do the same thing with the tomatoes that are on the ground. I try to rake them up and pick them up. Using our potato fork to pull our celery up because it's rooted in there pretty good. You can see the root system on celery is pretty extensive. Really holds on. Boy, that Thai basil smells so good coming out. I'm tempted to pull some of these young leaves and make some soup today. Picked our last few tomatoes that are still in good condition. We're going to enjoy those last handful of homegrown tomatoes. It's going to be a whole year before we see those again. And as we've said before, store-bought tomatoes just taste like disappointment. Found a couple honeydew that were hiding amongst the vines in there. And then all kinds of fresh volunteer dill coming up. We'll leave that in the ground. We'll see how it does with the upcoming frost. Well, we got this side of the garden basically cleaned up, other than our habaneros. I think what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to pull the plants up, pick the peppers off as I pull them up, and then just throw the plants in the wheelbarrow. And then this side of the garden will be all done. Got our plants pulled out. Got a little bucket here of habaneros. So we're going to take our cages and pick those up so I can rake up all the mess over there. What I'm going to do is I've got some little wire, heavy wire, that I'm going to make some hooks out of here on the fence and hang these up along the fence. And that way they're off the ground where we can keep the ground clear. I've made them kind of permanent. I've clamped them around the top rail where they won't come off the rail, but you can unhook the cages. So we're going to get to making those and hang up all these cages. Got all our cages picked up, our peppers cleaned up. Got all our cages hung up here. I've been wanting to do that for a while. So, a lot cleaner. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to go get some gloves on. We're going to strip all these tomatoes off the cattle panels, pull them out, and then we can pick those up and then break down the cattle panels and put those against the far fence. Got all of our tomatoes pulled down. Just got to get the wheelbarrow over here and the pitchfork. We'll pick up the bulk of that and we'll rake up the rest. Got all of our vines cleaned up. You see there's lots of tomatoes out here. I know that seems kind of like a waste, but because of the blight the tomatoes got, the latter part of the year, the tomatoes got mushy or soft. They weren't usable, but that's why we planted a whole row of tomatoes this year, so we could absorb some losses, and we were able to harvest lots and lots of tomatoes. So we were able to fill the pantry completely back up, and we'll be good for a couple years, even if we get a couple bad years. So just got to rake all these up, and we'll load them in the wheelbarrow and get them out of here. Got our mess cleaned up, so now we're going to break down our panels, pull our T-posts. We have another little trellis over there, and we'll get this stored away. Got all our panels stored. Time to pull T-posts. If you don't have one of these and you work with T-posts, highly recommend you get one, because T-posts can be a real chore to get out of the ground. This one, all you got to do is put it on there, push down on your lever, your T-post comes right out of the ground, and that thing will just ratchet right down, and it keeps right on coming out. Super simple. Got all our T-posts cleaned up. Gonna take our little hoe now, go through, get what little weeds we have poking up out here, and then I'll probably rake the rows, get any debris we have in there, and then we'll be about done. All right, well, we got the garden put to bed. Probably not the last thing we'll have to do out this year, because once we start getting moisture, if we have any warm weather, it'll start sprouting weeds. So we'll have to take care of that. But put your garden to bed nice, folks. You will thank yourself in the spring for sure. I hope that one little dill plant doesn't get too lonely out there. We're going to go in and get some lunch, because I am starving like Marvin. While we're inside, we're going to take care of all these habaneros. We're going to pull all the stems off of them, put them in this other bowl. We've got a new way we're going to try to ferment these, so we're going to get that going while we're in here. Got all of our habaneros sliced up, and we put them in vacuum seal bags. These are like gallon-sized bags, and we fill them half full. And then you put 3% of the weight of the habaneros, which is 400 grams in every one of these bags. So 1,600. But in each 400 gram bag, we're going to put 3% salt, which is 12. So 12 grams of salt are going to go in each bag. And then we're going to vacuum seal these. And this is another way of fermentation that I found out on my fermented hot sauce group. So as this ferments, it'll develop gases, and it'll make the bags swell, and not swell so much to where they explode, because we're only going half full. But you know when they've swelled up completely full that your ferment is done. So we're going to give this a shot and see how it works. All right, there's our 4 bags of habaneros with our salt. As these start to ferment, they're going to give off juice almost immediately now. And all that juice is going to mix with that salt and create its own brine in the bag. And in about a month, we'll have fermented peppers. The bags will be swollen. And we'll be able to puree this for some more hot sauce. But we'll show you that process when the time comes. Right now, let's get back out into the garden. All right, we're back out at the evening time. Took a little break in the house. Here's our raised bed. Remember, we got this for our herbs earlier in the year. It did really, really well. We still got a few herbs in here. We got some sage going on here. And these are some chives. The frost has got them a little bit, but there's still some good ones on there. Kelly came out and picked the other variety of grapes. They were ready. I think they were either Catawba or Red Swenson. I forget the two. But this grapevine came back really nice this year. We've got some really good strong canes. Once all this dies back, we'll trellis it a little bit better. The wind got a hold of Kelly's clematis here on the chicken coop the other day. Blew it off and folded it over This was clear over up on top over here. So we'll just trim this off at some point. We combined our compost piles the other day. We had our regular grass clipping compost, and then we had our, remember all of our grass that we hay raked out there. We had a big pile here, so we've combined them all. Starting to break down, but we're still mowing, so we're still adding grass to it here. I may take these wood chips at some point and combine them in. I'm just worried about the amount of dirt in there that'll grow weeds, but we'll see. It's our new asparagus patch here. You can see it's grown pretty well. Time to do some more weeding in here. We got the water running in it right now. Put all of our garden waste out here, and then we just brush hog all that down next time we brush hog out here. I'm guessing around the 1st of November we'll need to put the cover on the bees again, their winter cover. We lost one of our hives this year. We just found that out about a month ago. Hive on the left, they've absconded. They're out of the box. I'm guessing they may have swarmed, but usually when they swarm they leave some bees back. But the bees in this hive has robbed all the honey out of that hive and have stored it in theirs. But this hive here is still booming, going very strong. So what I'm thinking is I'm going to leave this one vacant, and when these bees get too big for their britches over here and decide to swarm, I'm hoping they'll find that they've got a nice empty box over here to migrate into, and this hive may do a split on its own. And if it doesn't do that by this time, summertime like next year, the following spring we'll order up a package of bees, put a package of bees in there, or I'll go to our local bee guy and get another hive that he's got sitting out in the yard. The bees and the butterflies have been just absolutely loving Kelly's flower patch out here. She created lots of flower bouquets for the house and even gave some to people. But a lot of these flowers are going to seed now. So all those seeds will drop down here. And you can see Kelly's sunflower seeds are back here, the heads. The birds will start eating these. See that really tall one up there? It's pretty crazy. Go check it out. It's like the guineas have been laying eggs in here too. That here is about 8 feet tall. Pretty cool. Kelly came out to water her herbs. Give them a good soaking. Supposed to get a freeze tonight, so this moist soil in here will help it provide some warmth when it freezes. Maybe it won't hit them so hard tonight. Spent a little time, got the greenhouse all picked up, swept out, got everything stacked up in here, ready to go for spring. Ready to rock. Next thing on the agenda is my shop. We've had so much going on lately and so much stuff coming in here that we really need to clean this shop up, and that's next on the agenda. Also need to fill my wood rack over there. I've got plenty of wood to go cut for that. But definitely need to get this place picked up because we got some projects to do out here. One of which is our barbecue, which is this big propane tank sitting right here, and that wood stove right over there. Those are going to be put together and on our new trailer that we have outside. That's going to be our barbecue trailer right here. We're going to tune this thing up, reconfigure the whole thing. It's going to be a pretty nice unit. Still got to hook up our propane tank too. I think I'm going to need to turn it this direction to get it to fit in here because I don't have enough room on this side anymore. It's going to interfere with my power pole here. So we'll get that done too here soon. Get it all plumbed in to the shop for the generator. We'll have 350 gallons of fuel to run our generator on. It'll run it a good long time. Well, I'm going to call it a day and head back inside. Trying to get some of this done. I'm headed out to California this week. Going to stay out there for a week. Got my 40th high school reunion. My buddy talked me into going. And I'll get to see my kids while I'm out there and pay a surprise visit to Ramona. She doesn't know I'm coming. Her mom's going to bring her over when I get out there and surprise her. So that'll be fun times, and I'll get to spend about a week with her, pick her up from school and such. It'll be cool. By the time you see this, though, I'll be long returned. We're almost a month ahead on our videos. Pretty crazy. So, till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. Come back and see us here at the farm. We're going to go in and think about supper. See you next time.